Okay, so, um, before I really get into this, before I really go too deep in this, I want to make it clear that my purpose for this video is not to defend Sam Pepper in any way. In fact, I want to make it clear that I do not care about him at all, and this really isn't meant to be about him. And also about Laci, I don't really hold anything against her. I don't really hold any prejudice towards her or nothing. I think she's a pretty good YouTuber. I like some of her videos. I think some of her videos are kind of interesting. So let's begin. So in Laci's most recent video, Sam Pepper Exposed 2, I did a video about her first Sam Pepper Exposed video, and basically my point with the first one was how really she focused so purely on women. I mean, really, she does this in all of her videos, but she focused so purely on sexual assault or rape towards women, and hardly ever, I mean, she really makes it out to be a woman's issue. She doesn't really involve men into the discussion, or at least she doesn't try to. But in her most recent video, Sam Pepper Exposed 2, she has some very interesting comments about our legal system. And I think if you objectively look at it and really think about it for a second, I mean, she's kind of speaking out against the way our legal system is. At least in the instances of rape or sexual assault towards women. And I find them kind of disturbing, mostly because she has a very large audience who blindly agree with her. I mean, I think she could go on camera and say anything and they would support her 100% of the way. Now, getting into that, I will actually play a clip, or you're not going to see it on the video, just you'll hear it in the background. Hopefully you can hear her well enough. Just doing this on my iPod. Okay.
Time. Then there's the fact that a criminal case can take months and requires the survivor to repeat the story 10, 12 times. They have to testify in court, be examined, asked invasive questions to try to paint them as a liar or a slut who really wanted it, all in front of their rapist, the rapist's lawyer, the jury, and other people that are doubting them. They have to go through all of this.
Yes. Those are all aspects of our legal system. To testify in front of a jury, a judge, and even the rapist, the person who committed the crime. I never really understood that entirely, but I guess if I just think about it for a second, I guess it makes sense that if someone's accusing you of a crime, that you see them, you hear it, it from their mouth, hear them say it, and also it's important for there to be a jury and a judge there. The first thing I wanted to talk about the first thing I wanted to get out there was a quote from the movie Training Day, a good Denzel Washington movie. I like it a lot. And the quote is, "It's not what you know, it's what you can prove." So, point being, evidence. Hard evidence. And if you don't have the evidence, then it's just one person's word against another. In reality, I don't care who you are, your word alone is worthless, in my opinion. Even my word, even what I'm saying in this video is to some degree worthless, but maybe it's just digressing a little bit, I don't know. Okay, maybe I'm veering a little bit off point. Now, that was just a little quote I wanted to bring up. First thing I wanted to talk about was innocent until proven guilty. I think this is an idea Laci does not really have in her head. And I think the purpose of innocent until proven guilty is to promote objectivity, so that you don't walk into things like this with any type of bias. And if you look at Laci, you can understand, yes, she has a bias towards Sam. Why? Because he has been accused of rape. You know, is there mountains of evidence of proof stacked against him? I have no idea. I haven't heard of any. As far as I'm concerned, from what she says, there's only accusations, you know? That's it, just accusations. And Laci is not even taking into consideration the fact that maybe these accusations are false. I hope not, just because it's kind of a shitty thing to do in general, to falsely accuse someone of rape, but it's possible. It's not impossible. And Laci, I don't believe Laci has ever addressed that in any of her videos at all. I think I wanted to Google innocent of proven guilty and read some stuff from Google about it, and even though I really said what I wanted to say there, because I want to talk about how widely used it is. Okay. In the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, Article 12, or Article 11, states, everyone charged with penal offenses has the right to be presumed innocent until proved guilty according to law in a public trial at which he has had all the guarantees necessary for his defense. They probably should have used a little different wording there. Just for the whole his, he part, just semantics. And I think the purpose of this is objectivity, so that, you know, you don't walk in with a passionate prejudice and, you know, and look at this with that prejudice, and then because you have that prejudice, you make a decision that is false. I also find it interesting how many countries happen to agree with the Universal Declaration of Human Rights, so I can assume that this is a pretty well accepted idea throughout most countries. You know, I'll read you the list of countries that seem to agree with it. The following countries voted in favor of the Declaration. It's alphabetical order. You might find some of the names interesting. I'm going to read all this on Wikipedia. Afghanistan, Argentina, Australia, Belgium, Bolivia, Brazil, Burma, Canada, Chile, Republic of China, Colombia, Costa Rica, Cuba, Denmark, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, Egypt, El Salvador, Ethiopia, France, Greece, and that's not even half of it. This list also includes the United Kingdom, United States, Mexico, Norway, Iraq, Iran. Isn't that interesting? Just because when I think of a lot of Middle Eastern countries, really, I just kind of think of a very tyrannical place to live in, where you have like zero rights. But okay, veering off point. The second thing I want to talk about is reasonable doubt, and I think Laci's standard of evidence is very different from what most people in the legal community might view as good evidence. I mean, from what I'm seeing from Laci's videos, it seems that all she wants to do is look at what the victims have said and then just believe it outright, without looking at both sides of the equation, without considering every variable possible, without even considering the idea that maybe there is some doubt to this claim, and I think another same idea behind reasonable doubt is true is kind of objectivity, looking at this and saying, well, is there any doubt that this person has committed this crime? If so, that should be considered, that should be taken into account, and maybe if there is a reasonable enough doubt, maybe this person is not guilty of this crime and should not be punished by so. Okay? So I'm not sure I'm not trying to be condescending towards Laci in any way. I'm sure she's heard of these things before. Maybe she doesn't. Maybe she's heard of them and just didn't care. Maybe she didn't understand them. I don't know. Or maybe she's just looking at this through her view of the world through feminism and whatnot. It's already 10 minutes, so I wanted this to be a 10 to 15 minute video, so I guess trying to wind down here. Okay, another thing Laci said, you know, and this is again kind of speaking out against her legal system, is another thing she said was something about being so vague here. Lawyers asking invasive questions and trying to pose the victim. First off, you're just kind of seeing these. You're just kind of trying to portray a sad story here almost by using the victim and not really looking at them as a person, looking at them as a victim. You know, it's like, oh, they're a victim, they need to be catered a certain way or whatever. Okay. So, yeah, I mean, it's basically the lawyer's job to criticize the claim, to defend their client, you know, to bring up to the jury that there is some doubt to this case, and maybe his client is not guilty, is innocent, you know, or at least should not be charged, you know. Going back to innocent until guilty, I mean, I really think if Laci had looked at this, you know, just thought about it more objectively, it makes sense to view everyone as innocent until proven guilty. Proven, proof. Hard proof that says that such and such has committed this crime, you know, and maybe I can help change Laci's perspective here, and I don't know, maybe the problem is her wording, since we tend to think through language, and she oftentimes refers to the people she is wanting to defend as victims, you know, always as victims, never as people, you know, and the way she views the rapist is usually as some type of monster, you know, some type of evil, demonic thing, never as a person, you know. Again, trying not to really defend Sam Pepper here, but he is a person, believe it or not. Yeah, I know. So maybe if you could just see it that way, I don't know, maybe you might view this a little differently and you wouldn't criticize the legal system, you know. Not sure how well I presented my ideas. Let's see. Yeah, I mean, basically, Laci's looking at this with a huge lack of objectivity, you know. You know, she just... I don't know. I mean, she might as well admit to wanting to ignore the idea of false rape accusations. I'm just reading something I wrote down. I mean, yeah, it's necessary for things to be this way for the sake of objectivity and stuff. Okay, kind of not knowing where I'm going to go with this. So regardless what you thought of what I have just said, regardless if you hate me, love me, whatever, yeah, I think if you consider yourself a fan of Laci, I think you should definitely share this with other people who are also fans of Laci, or maybe share this to Laci, since she tends to not respond to any of her criticism here. And I was mostly trying to focus on her comments about our legal system. You know, it's almost, I mean, really, the way I saw it is almost as if she was trying to say that in cases of rape, we should just ignore everything. We should ignore innocent until proven guilty. We should ignore any reasonable doubt. We should ignore that. We should just, listen to the victim, believe her 100% of the way, and then throw people into jail, not considering the idea of false rape accusations or any reasonable doubt, especially if there's a huge lacking of physical evidence. Because then it just comes down to one person's word over another person's word, and I guess that does suck in a lot of cases, but that's the way it is, our legal system is the way it is. I guess in some cases it doesn't really achieve justice, but it's to kind of ensure that people aren't thrown away in jail, who kind of shouldn't be thrown in jail to some degree, especially if there is doubt to what's happened, to what exactly has happened, And if there is doubt, then maybe, they shouldn't be thrown in jail, Especially in the cases of rape, it tends to just comes down to one person's word over another. Alright, well. So, if you like this video, give me a like. Give it a like. If you dislike it, dislike it. If you... Well, actually, just share it with your friends, okay? Just share this video with your friends, regardless if you liked it or hated it. And maybe we could try to get this message to Laci, Maybe she might recant some of the things she said, since in the past I know she has said some ignorant things. Not a lot, but still, just enough to be kind of troublesome. So yeah, that's it. Also, share with me your thoughts about, not Sam Pepper, but rather what Laci has said, that specific message, that specific part of the video I had an issue with, Tell me what you thought about it. Am I blowing this out of proportion? Am I looking at this... Am I looking at this the right way? Tell me what you think about this. I know this video kind of lacked some organization. I kind of rambled, I guess. I don't know, I just kind of blanked out and just, just had my brain farts and retard moments. So, yep. Thank you for watching. Hope you liked it. Bye.